Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I'm your host, David Moore. Welcome, welcome. All right, so it's 7:19. It's a good time to talk about magic. Let's see what hours we have again. Let's see where we're at on the chart. Today's Saturday, Saturn's day. Then we're at the hour of, let's see, it's 7 o'clock. We have the moon, so it's in the hour of the moon, which is kind of cool. So another thing you could do with astrology and the Ars Goetia is on these kind of hours, you can influence it with Saturn, or you can kind of dive into the energies of the moon and be like, all right, what's going on in the lunar realms? So if I'm battling Artemis, this is a perfect time to get information on how to destroy Artemis, because Artemis is very well protected. It has Cancer as a sign of protection. And it also has Scorpio, and Scorpio is another sign of protection. It defends itself, it protects itself. It has this exoskeleton, and it has poison, or it has sharp claws. They live in harsh environments, and they're very multiplied. There's a lot of them. There's not really they're not a rare thing. They're pretty common, but not in a bad way. More like their way of success and survival in the world is to be out there and like just keep living and having a whole bunch of them. So yeah, you have Scorpio and you have Cancer, and specifically Cancer because that's the target in the Castle Demon Lord game, is Aphrodite versus Artemis. And Artemis is the hero, Aphrodite's the villain. I'm the villain, I'm Aphrodite versus Artemis, the Cancer. Alright, so he's a paladin, I'm a sorcerer. So usually sorcerers have an advantage over paladins because they can go through the armor, but paladins also have a bit of a magic resistance depending on the god that they serve. So they could have like magical armor that protects them from magic. So maybe I can incorporate that into the story by giving Artemis some kind of like maybe diving into his character. Let's kind of figure him out and then see what we can create for him. Alright, so Artemis is this guy. He's a prince. He's the next in line to become king. He's very smart, intelligent, physical. He's strong, he's wise, he's handsome. He has everything going for him. He has a family, he has friends, he has dignities and titles. He knows what he's doing. His family's a long line of monarchy. And he's very advanced when it comes to spirituality and magic, because obviously he's dealing with a lot of sorcerers and different, energies in the courts. So he's very well attuned with his abilities. And then we have Aphrodite. Aphrodite is also very intelligent, has a lot of magic, is pretty powerful, but doesn't have any resources. It doesn't have anything that allows it to battle or compete with Artemis, and has to solely rely on its own magic to be able to defeat Artemis, because Artemis rules over Mount Olympus in this story. So Artemis is ruling over Ares and Hermes and all the other planets. So basically he owns everything except for Venus, and he doesn't really need to own Venus because he can just like take from Venus whatever he wants, because Venus can't defend his own domain and realm as well. I think Aphrodite can in a way, because like he can shut the doors so they have a hard time of getting what they want from it, but then they just end up recycling old stuff and making the world boring, and Aphrodite doesn't like things to get boring. Aphrodite likes things to be fun. So if you see like the golden apple, like Aphrodite loves that competition and is like, oh, I want to win. That's why it has Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, and Gemini is about the story about wars. It's about like Odysseus and the rest of the stories that he goes through, all the wars that he experiences. So that's that air sign, that's that storytelling. I'm a Gemini, so that's my sign and that's my planet. And I'm just going based off the traditional astrology, because if you go any other way, you just have different variable factors, and I want my character to prove a point. Let's see, what else does my character have then? Alright, let's just skip back to Artemis, because I think Artemis needs to be worked on. Alright, he's a paladin, alright? So, he has water, he has the moon on his side, he owns Jupiter, basically. Silver is his primary color. How would he battle? How would he win? Maybe he has a sword or a blade that he fights against Venus with. Maybe he can like change his weapons. Maybe he's like a dragoon, like he has armor and he can like teleport and damage things easy. Um, let's see, and we have Aphrodite, just no armor basically. Maybe sometimes Aphrodite has armor, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he changes between the different ideas as well. Um, hmm. Yeah, I want to make it like really simple, but then I have all these ideas where I'm like, oh, I just want to throw these in, like having Aphrodite have his own army that destroys Artemis, and I think I need to work on that. But at the same time, I'm like, I love it when Aphrodite goes into battle by himself and just wrecks Artemis, and I can have maybe that bounce back and forth. But I really need to give Artemis some kind of life that. But I feel like the more I try to dig into Artemis's energy, like there's this wall of protection that's like saying no in a way where it's like you can tell he's resistant to being in the story. So usually when you do witchcraft on somebody or you do a tarot reading from a distance, you just have to envision that person or just, have them on your mind or just know that they exist and then just move on from there, and you can read them from a distance. I do have tarot cards that I should probably read next time and get some information from them about the character, but I really want to just try to like work on being able to see him and figuring out what my next move is, my next plan. And I feel like I do work on it and get a little bit further each time, but I also feel like it's never perfect, and it could be more fun. Like I want things to be more fun for my character. Alright, so if Aphrodite's fighting Artemis, this is just so difficult. I don't know what it is. In my Mars, I do have Cancer, and in my Fortune, I have Cancer, so that means that I make money from those kind of elements, and that I use water as my way of fighting. So I use love to fight, I use money to fight. That's like my conflict energy. Like Aries represents your energy and passion, so money and love like really influence me to do things with myself. And since if I'm in the domain of the air, then that works really good, but I don't have that physical aspect. But also my Fortune's in Cancer, so we can kind of see that Aphrodite's having the struggle with Artemis because Artemis is a Cancer, and if Aphrodite can't get into that Cancer energy, it's because that Artemis, that Cancer, is blocking him. So how do you remove a blockage? How do you fight that blockage? How do you destroy it? In the astral realm, in the battles, the spiritual warfare, I like to heal and destroy. So I heal them in the physical realm to give them opportunities to live a better life. I like to give them everything that they want, everything they need, so that way when I destroy them, it's more of a cut and a scar and leaves a mark. So like let's say you're in the mafia and you're battling some people. Usually they'll chop off a finger or a hand or make an example of a person so they can like get a better reputation, and I think that's kind of what my character does, is that he just like really gives them everything they want, so when he hurts them with magic and they get destroyed, that there's like a mark left behind, like a message, like yeah, I did that, like a signature. But I guess you could say that about like homicidal killers too, right? Like they do some crazy things to let people know that that's them, like the Zodiac killer or something, I don't know. But my character is not like that because I'm not really going to do stuff like that. My character is more of a witch, more of a sorcerer, and uses magic to his advantage to win wars. And that seems like an impossible thing because in society nowadays, magic is seen as not real, and if it is seen as real, it's a bit taboo and people are scared of it, but at the same time they think they can be defended from it by believing in God. But what if God is the one doing the magic, What if it's God that's going after you? So how do I prove my character's God? And I have Artemis standing in the way of all of that. So my character has to defeat Artemis. Maybe I can tie in something like, okay, if Artemis has all this royalty energy around him, and I don't know, I want there to be something like a stage kind of like when you fight a video game. But if he's the hero, maybe I should see him from the hero perspective. So he's like, all right, I'm the next in line to be the king. I'm gonna rule over the earth. My family's been doing this for generations. I'm the rightful heir. But then I have Artemis. He's this guy from California. He is 36 years old. I'm probably like 40 or 38, whatever. And he wants to take my throne, but the public doesn't know what I know. And what I know is that he has the right to become the king because he is related to me, and he was the one that was supposed to be put on the throne, but instead we kind of hid that information. So what we did, well, the world doesn't know, public doesn't know that there's supposed to be a different king. Like, I'm not supposed to be the king. Artemis, the Cancer, this Gemini Aphrodite, which is me, David, has to be the king. Okay, so I'm speaking from Artemis's perspective, right? All right, so the world doesn't know because the world follows a different set of rules where they see us passing it down genealogy, but they don't know that he was bred up for this, but also that we had an alliance and that things were meant to be a certain way. But instead things changed because we noticed that Aphrodite didn't really go for the throne the way we thought he was going to go for it. Instead, he manipulated a lot of the system, and after a while it was easy for us to break out of our own strict laws and spiritual laws, so then we got to be able to do whatever we wanted. That's kind of interesting, huh? Alright, it's weird speaking through like another person. Alright, let me take a sip of this because that's kind of fun. Okay, so if I'm Artemis, the Cancer, and David is the Gemini Aphrodite Venus sign, and he's the rightful king, and I want to destroy him. I want to stop him from winning, because if he wins, I'm gonna go to hell because I broke a lot of promises that I made to him. He was supposed to be my true love, my soulmate. We were supposed to get married and do all these things together. We were betrothed to each other, but he's a boy, I'm a boy. We were supposed to bring in this new era of love, and I did it spiritually, but after a while I noticed Aphrodite had a whole bunch of different loves. He was really powerful. He destroyed my life. He did magic, and that magic destroyed somebody I loved, and it hurt me. And after a while I still would follow Aphrodite from a distance as we grew up, but I just couldn't admit that Aphrodite was evil or good. I couldn't admit that it was easy. I had to move on and find a new love and a new person and start a new life. And now Artemis is bent on revenge and destruction. I saw Artemis suffer from a distance because Artemis had nothing, and Artemis lived in the wild and was always in fight or flight mode. So Artemis is suffering a lot, and I'm here living a lavish lifestyle. I have everything I want, and it's a good example for me to remind myself that Aphrodite doesn't have what I need, but the world revolves around Aphrodite. I still think about Aphrodite. That's the only thing I love is Aphrodite. All I can think about is him. Even me and my brother used to struggle and battle each other because he loves Aphrodite as well. My father loved him. Everybody loves Aphrodite. My grandmother would protect Aphrodite from a distance, but after time I realized that Aphrodite has this temperamental problem where he just makes really strict laws and nobody can break them, and if they do, that he punishes them. And then I noticed that we could kind of bend those laws and influence them and take advantage of Aphrodite. So we could kind of take away Aphrodite's power and pin him down where he couldn't be able to fight back. So basically Artemis hurt Aphrodite, and Aphrodite hurt Artemis. And then there came a point where Aphrodite had to prove his power, that he belongs on the throne. and we didn't expect him to be so powerful, so strong, so determined, and cruel and exact. And he destroyed in the astral realm the spirit of my grandmother, and she was sent to hell. And now the line of succession goes on to my father, and next it goes to me. But there's a part of me that wants Aphrodite to win, because if Aphrodite wins, then I can get closer to him, and I know that he won't hurt me in the physical realm. I just know that in the astral realm, he's out to get me, because he wants to be the next king. It's his right. He deserves it. It belongs to him, but I don't know how to give it up. I don't know how to hand it over to him. I don't know how this works. I'm just an ordinary human with high ambition, but I get that only because of the adoration I have for Aphrodite. And I've had moments where I betray Aphrodite and hurt him in the dream world, in the astral realm. But Aphrodite is still stronger than me, no matter what I do. So let's step back a little bit. Go back into the story of the game. So now we see kind of how Artemis feels about Aphrodite. Some stories that might have affected him, and all these energies and ideas. And then we have Aphrodite that's just like knows all of this. Aphrodite definitely knows all of this, because Aphrodite sees everything. Aphrodite feels everything. Like whatever they're thinking or feeling, Aphrodite knows it. Aphrodite gets a lot of information from the astral realm. It just gives it to her, gives it to him all the time. But I think that there's a part of the story where they're meant to be together, and that they've like been a team. So maybe we can like kind of dig into that one too. All right, so I'm Artemis again, okay? So I'm Artemis. Me and Aphrodite used to be in the same team. We used to battle the world together. We used to destroy everything that was evil and protect the laws and protect Christianity and protect the royal throne and show the world how much we love each other. And I protected Aphrodite. I gave him everything he wanted, and he gave me everything I wanted, and he gave me lots of freedom, and he trusted me, and I betrayed that freedom and that trust. And the only way I know how, because we live in a mortal realm where I can't be there for him the way I wanted to. I can't physically be there for him. So Aphrodite wants to destroy me, obviously, because he's the next king, and he has to prove himself. And there's nothing we can do to stop him. And what I do have is the love of my followers, and those followers are people that, you know, pray for me and see me as their hero or their true king or their rightful heir. But I don't know how to tell them that they need to love Aphrodite, because Aphrodite has already tied me to these people and sealed me, so I can't manipulate it or change it. And if I could, would it make a difference? So if we step back from the story, then we have Aphrodite, who's like, yeah, you could give me the throne. You could give me everything that I want. You could give me that power. You could obey me. You could make this easy for yourself, but you won't, because you're always going to run. Humans always run from the truth. They run from the battle. They don't want to be crazy. They don't want to be seen as different. So maybe moments like this where I make videos is a good moment for Artemis to hear, because when you speak things into existence, it gives people bravery, it gives them new ideas, it gives them new ways to express themselves. There's some people with like split personalities who like hide that part of them, but they have these really great conversations with the world. And I think if we could just see a little bit more of that, we could understand each other more. So you can still see like my character has this love for the world and for himself and for everyone else, but is like really resistant and hesitant and angry, and is like, no, I want to destroy the human race. You see all this beauty and grace that I have to offer. I don't want to, you know what, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to destroy you at the same time, because if I can do that, then it'll remind you never to ever do this again. And the next generation and anything after that they have to worship one thing, and I exist. And I'm going to make sure that next time this happens, it won't ever happen again. Yeah. So now we have this idea of how these, if we go like become therapists real quick, we have Aphrodite, we have Artemis. Artemis is conflicted, doesn't want to be too expressive, and then we have Aphrodite, who's extremely expressive, extremely volatile, has a lot going on, but isn't a threat in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm, yes. So mentally, Aphrodite's a threat, spiritually it's a threat, but not physically. And then we have Cancer Artemis over here. He's not a threat at all, but at the same time, maybe there's some secret hidden underlyings under there. So let's try to go into that realm. So we have 3 different realms. Remember, the past, present, and future. So a person's past could be different from their present, and their future, they have different personalities in each of those realms. So you can see it as your ba, your ka, and then your body. So maybe your body's the present, your ka's the future, and your ba's the past. Because you always want to present something that's good, that's futuristic. You don't really want to show off the past, you know? So let's see what his ba would look like. So his ba is what's in front, his ka is what's in behind, his body is what's present. Alright, so we're going to do the ka first, then the body, then the future. Alright, so his ba would be like, no, I'm going to get away with everything. I'm confused, I'm sensitive, I'm doubtful, I'm extreme, I'm maniacal. So Artemis is going through all these emotions. Alright, and he's like, I know what I want, but I want to destroy Aphrodite, because if I destroy him, then I'll be able to do whatever I want. And then his present body's like, no, that's not what I want. What I want is to take care of everything I love and to make a good world. And then his future self is living lavishly, enjoying the world, and yeah. Okay, so let's see. Trying to get into this character is very difficult, but I'm doing my best. All right, I'm Artemis. Gotta keep remembering that I'm Artemis, the male paladin, the prince of the world. All right. Yeah. Alright, so stories about me and Aphrodite. What has happened where I can watch him from a distance? Since I'm the moon, I'm basically the mirror that he holds, and I can go there and see him whenever I want. So it's a Beauty and the Beast kind of story. And I really love Aphrodite, but only spiritually. And physically, it's not right. I can't do that. It's difficult. I already have everything lined up for myself. And if we go into another side of Artemis, that is what is antagonizing Aphrodite, what gives Aphrodite, because that love is an illusion, because it's like telling somebody, hey, I love you, please come back to me. Hey, I love you, give me a second chance. Hey, I love you, I want to be there for you. And Aphrodite wants to see past that. So Artemis is really good at putting this wall up, putting these defenses up, using Aphrodite against himself with that love. So Aphrodite's like, no, I see another side of you. And that side is... Alright, so we go back into Artemis, and what is it that he's saying? He's like, alright, Aphrodite, I love you and I want you to not hurt me. And Aphrodite's like, I'm still going to hurt you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to break you. I know that there could be something between us, but I have to look past it, and I have to look past everything that we've been through together. I have to look past everything that we've been. I have to look past the love I have for you, and I can't forgive you. I can't protect you. I can't bless you. I have to destroy you, and I'm going to build you up and destroy you. Like a tower effect. I'm going to build you high up and destroy you and break you down. And Artemis is like, go for it. Take your best shot. You can't hurt me. Like, love conquers all. But at the same time, there's something about Artemis. Alright, so there's a secret side to Artemis that is like very hard to express. He's like, alright, Aphrodite, let's battle, let's fight, but I'm gonna use your own powers against you as well. I'm not gonna make it easy for you. I have a lot of spiritual force, a lot of people I can use as meat shields and sacrifices. I have a lot of other powerful sorcerers that can help me destroy you. And And that might scare Aphrodite a little bit, but not a lot. More like a challenge, like the fear of the challenge. So it's like Aphrodite's like, I love the idea of the challenge, but I'm a little scared because I'm excited about how much fun I'm gonna have, if that makes sense. And then Artemis is kind of confused and like set back, and he's like, all right, well, let's see, how do I destroy Aphrodite? So maybe there's a thin veil that is really difficult for Artemis to think of destroying Aphrodite as well, because he's so busy with other things in his life that he has to follow rules. So when Artemis looks at Aphrodite, he sees this Jewish heritage, this Ashkenazi heritage of like dark, deep magic that is totally aligned with God, that has the powers of the devil and everything else. Something that he can't really beat, something that he's built off of. He sees a lion, a golden lion, and a throne and a crown and all his regalia, and he's like, I can use this to fight back, I can use this to defend myself. And Aphrodite wants that, because if Aphrodite sees that he's trying his hardest to fight back spiritually, then it might make a difference for Aphrodite's spells to hit harder. But if he hides and he doesn't try, then he loses his supporters and his energy sources. This is very interesting and kind of difficult to understand and to like make a story out of. Whoa, I don't know, guys. Artemis is difficult, right? So that's kind of why I go into the spiritual warfare. I keep chipping away at Artemis, and I'm like, I know there's some secrets in there. I know there's something in there. Boom, 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 boom. I know there's your weaknesses in there. I know your cause in there. I know that I can reach that spiritual energy that you have that's in there and destroy you. So how's Aphrodite going to destroy Artemis? How is Artemis going to fight back? If we were to like go off based off of mythology, I keep seeing this boar, and it's obviously Ares, and Aphrodite uses the boar to attack Artemis and destroy what Artemis loves. Maybe Aphrodite has to send Artemis into a berserk mode where he's like, I have to fight back, I have to defend what I love. I can kind of see something now. So if Aphrodite is using all his energy to destroy Artemis, because let's go a little bit into the stories, all right? I'm Artemis's grandmother, okay? All right. I love the demon lord. I love Aphrodite. I love David. He's very special to me. He was my grandson from a distance. He was my everything. Like, I try to do my best to train him to be a very great king, very powerful, very intelligent, very wise, but he taught me more than I could teach him. And I was grateful every day that he protected me and put good into the world and helped me unite a lot of nations. That the demon lord did everything he could to make this world a better place, that David did that. He is so great and magnificent, and I can only say good things about him. But he went through a lot of trouble trying to defend us all the time from the evils in the world, that eventually he was alone. And when he was alone, he had to fight for himself. And while he was fighting for himself, he learned that he had power that was beyond himself, that he knew he always had, but that he just had to admit it and come to terms with it and not hide it anymore, to be able to accept that part of his power. And when he did, that power gave him the ability to see what it is that he has to destroy in the world to make it better. And he would always protect everything that was to be destroyed. He would always give it a second chance. He would give it love. He would give it a future. He would give it a life. And now that he has the keys to heaven and hell, that he owns every single soul on this planet, that he's the greatest being in the universe, there's nothing that can stop him from getting what he wants. But we don't know how to give him what he wants. We can't do everything, but at the same time we can. We just don't want to, because We want to keep this power. We want to keep our throne. We want to keep our homes. And that's what fuels Aphrodite to fight us more. And it's not something we can control. It's something that we are made with. And Aphrodite knows this. So he can't feel sorry for us because these are the choices that we have made to stop him from ruling the earth. And as he gets stronger and commands the spirits of the Ars Goetia with more power, he becomes more infinite in his energies. But he still is lacking something that gives him complete control over us all. And that is in the physical realm. He doesn't have money, he doesn't have a home, he doesn't have family or friends, he's alone. And that makes it easier for us to destroy him or to hold him down or chain him down or prevent him from reaching the top. So if we defeat Aphrodite, the world will end because he's our god. But what if he's not? If he's not our god, then we can win, we can rule over the earth, and we can keep going. And we stop something evil from happening, and maybe there's another god out there that is the real one and not him. But we know that he's Jesus, we know he's the Messiah, we know he's the Antichrist, we know he's everything in one. So it's been passed down from generation to generation, this information, and now that we're here at this point, it's undeniable. But he destroyed me. We fought in the astral realm. He finally decided, all right, I have to destroy the ruler of the human realm, and he destroyed me. And when I got destroyed, it was interesting because I knew that he loved me, but he destroyed me anyways. And I tried to show my power and fight back, but I was not strong enough. He destroyed me at my prime. I had everything I could do to destroy him, but he destroyed me, and I lost. And now my title has been passed down, and I am currently in hell suffering for all eternity. And I won't come out, and I won't be released because Aphrodite will not allow it. He wants me to suffer because even if I was a good person to him or if I wasn't, it doesn't matter. He's not taking any excuses. And that's what the world has to live with. So now we're letting go of Artemis's grandmother and we're going back to the story. So then Aphrodite's like, yep, that's me. I'm the best. I'm the bomb. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. And Artemis is like, my grandmother's in hell. My family's going to end up in hell. I have to destroy Aphrodite or we're all going to go to hell. And if I do destroy Aphrodite, we're still going to go to hell. So it's a lose-lose situation. And I can't prove myself because Aphrodite's going to make me prove myself as a good person. And even if I do show that I'm a good person, he's still going to destroy me because until we hand him the throne, there won't be an end to this. It's almost as if it's a threat. It's almost as if I wish there was a way we can destroy Aphrodite, hurt him, get him locked up, stop him from being able to do these things. But Aphrodite's so clever, intelligent, quick, nimble. Aphrodite does everything that it wants, and he never gets in trouble. And if he does get in trouble, he finds a way out of it. What do we do? What is there to do? So we could step back from the story, and now we could be the audience. And this is you guys. So you're like, all right, Aphrodite's crazy. He thinks he's God. He thinks he's going to rule the world. And he thinks he's not going to get in trouble for it, that he's not going to be punished for it. And Artemis, he just is doing what's right for himself. He's protecting what he loves. And just because Aphrodite doesn't have anything doesn't mean he could just take everything from Artemis, right? And then we kind of pan back to Aphrodite's view. And Aphrodite's like, all right, so the audience has an opinion now. Like, you guys have a choice to be able to influence the decisions of the world, and that fuels Aphrodite's anger. That's what gives Aphrodite that villain aura farming, where he's like, all right, so the world thinks that I can't have what I want. The world wants to try to put me in a box. The world wants to try to control my thoughts, my emotions, my actions, and how do you control a god? How are you going to control a god? And the humans or the audience is like, well, we can do it because you're a human. You have to be a human. There's no other option. You can't not be a human. You're just like one of us. We're all equal. And then it pans back to Aphrodite, and he's like, no, I'm going to do it my way. And then we have Artemis, who's just like mouth shut, silent. And if he did have a voice, he would be like, you humans are really dumb, and you make things worse for everybody else. Like, you guys keep questioning this truth, and we know the truth, and you guys make it more difficult for us. But at the same time, we love it because it makes it easier, because then we could just pretend that David doesn't exist, and if you destroy him for us, or hurt him, or lock him up, or make things harder for him, then better for us, right? Aphrodite will never rule the earth, and we will always be free. But we know we're in hell. We know that everything is not the way it's supposed to be, but he's going to build us up until we break ourselves. And he doesn't care what we know or what we do, because he's always going to win. He's always a million steps ahead of us. He controls us. He's the puppeteer. And then we go back into the story. So we're going to see it kind of from Saturn's perspective. And Saturn sees that there's this arena, the Mount Olympus. We have Artemis and we have Aphrodite. They're battling for this rule over the earth. We have this psychotic Aphrodite that is delusional and believes that he's the god of the world, and that's how vain and narcissistic he is. And then we have Artemis, who is spoiled and wealthy and in control, and then we have the humans watching from the ground below the battle of these gods. And we can make our own interpretations of what's going to happen. And when Saturn speaks, he lets everybody know, like, hey, everybody, like, how are we going to influence this story? What parts and roles do we play? What will Ares and Hermes do? Will we have other gods step in? Will we have celebrities showing off what they can do? Will we have humans infecting the situation? What will happen? What will be the next thing in this story? Will be the conclusion? Will there be an ending? Will there be a next story? Will Aphrodite finally get what he wants and get his throne and get his recognition? Or will he be sent to be punished in some place, some way, somehow? And then we have Artemis. Will he get destroyed by Aphrodite? Will he find a way to fight back? Will he be the hero, or will he be weak? Or will Aphrodite manipulate Artemis into destroying the rest of the humans, etc.? Let's go from there. Let's find out what we could do next. Let's brainstorm. We're at a good hour. We're at a good time. We're at a good day, good month, good everything. And that's the end of the Illuminati broadcast. So you get to see what's it like to be inside the mind of a god, a psychotic god that doesn't know anything. And you can judge him and punish him and all these other things, but it might be futile and it might not. So it's kind of like, what's the answer? What's the truth? What's a lie? Is it confusing? Is it just babble? I don't know. But yeah, Illuminati broadcast. I'm David Moore. I'm your god. Everything exists because of me. Have a great day. Bye.